Hey everybody, it's Chad here. Happy Monday morning here in our office. Just keeping on. Topic of today's live video is I have been working on my personal, the story of my personal health journey, rewriting it over the past couple weeks or past couple months, really. Really kind of digging in and thinking deeper and really going over my story and my kind of journey. As a lot of you know, we've been on a journey here with our business ourselves, starting our own coaching business, going through this process of our own health journeys, and then kind of figuring out along the way, like what do we want to do? Who do we really want to help here? And like a lot of people, like a lot of coaches or healers of any kind, really, our own journeys really kind of guide that process. The kind of the struggles, the pain, the challenges that we've overcome, and our own journeys are really the things that other people resonate with the most. They're the things that people relate to emotionally. Stories are the thing that connect us, connect each other with empathy and trust and compassion for the struggle. And as we were going along that journey, the kind of superficial layers for myself of my health journey were the biggest straightforward one was weight loss, because it was a pretty straightforward thing. I gained some weight, gained 50, 60 pounds, lost that, and then it's like, yeah, look great, awesome. Seems straightforward enough. So it's like, well, maybe I'll help people lose weight. And not to minimize that at all. It's a huge thing. I feel a million times better in my current body than I used to, being overweight. And, there's tons of all the same things that we do with our coaching for mental health, to help people with their mental health concerns, will inevitably help them lose weight usually too, because it's all really just healing the body from the inside out. When the body has the nutrients and the stress management, sleep, exercise, all these things are in line, there's going to be kind of all things come into balance. The brain comes into balance, the gut comes into balance, the hormones, and that all just is synergistic for losing weight. So kind of going off on that journey and starting to help people heal themselves, and really kind of starting to get like a broad education in terms of like, what are all the different kinds of, areas of focus. Because my experience as an auto technician, I learned really quickly that focusing on one type of car, for example, is better for everybody, really. As the person providing service when I worked on cars, if I specialized in one type of car, it was a lot easier for me to get really, really knowledgeable on that vehicle, how it worked, all the kinds of problems it was. And for the client coming in to consume the service, it was a lot more beneficial for them because they have an expert that specializes in their car, not just any car. And I've tried to really keep that in mind with our coaching business as well, because even though what we do can really help kind of with any health concern in some way, because it really is just a foundational, when you work on the foundations of the body, that's the whole kind of premise of functional and diagnostic nutrition, which is what we're trained in as practitioners, is that the holistic approach to the body, on a cellular level, but also on a systems level, getting everything to work together as opposed to just treating symptoms, is always going to help with everything. But being able to, within that subset, learn and really focus on one area can be really helpful for everybody, including me, because I'm kind of, self-professed information junkie. I love to learn. I dive in, head first, and learn as much as I can through experience. And I get education where it's valuable. I'm really part of in my story that by rewriting my journey here, it talks about my education in evolutionary psychology, English literature, and then kind of my natural health education, which was kind of like the school of hard knocks for a lot of it. I did most of my weight loss journey without a coach or a guide. It was just kind of reading things, reading books, going to conferences. I was just hungry for knowledge, and had to kind of put the pieces together myself. And I'm really grateful to be able to do the work that we do for our clients now, where we can be their guide, kind of like their spirit guide, if you will, kind of like a shaman. I really kind of like resonate with that kind of whole like shamanistic healer, you know, or like another word I've been kind of resonating with recently has been like an empath, like somebody that's highly in tune to others' emotional needs and their journeys. And as I'm kind of getting to here, we're in this long preamble, that is a lot of what I kind of realized about my own story. As I went through and kept digging deeper to help people, I looked deeper inside myself as well. And the first version of my story, like I said, that I wrote for our website was, it talked about weight loss, it talked about, you know, root causes and stressors, and it was all great. It was just kind of like, yay, like pep rally, kind of, yeah, we could do this, blah, blah, blah. That's great, which is awesome. But there's a lot more under the hood there. Just like with cars, there was a lot more under my hood that I hadn't really tapped into yet. And a mutual friend of ours has said that being an entrepreneur, starting your own business, is the greatest like personal growth journey you'll ever go on. I didn't really understand it quite at the time, but it really makes sense to me now, having a couple years into running and owning businesses. And like, it's not just, you know, it's not just that you're running a business or you're working a business like employee, like you are the business, like it's you. It's your soul. It's what you assert in the world with your words, with what you intend to do, your purpose, your meaning in life. For me, at least, that's what this business is for me. It's everything. Like, I am all in. I'm a poker player. Like, I've got the cards on my sleeve. Like, I'm all in with this business, with life in general. And it's because of that, it's a very emotional process for me. It has caused me to, you know, have a bunch of really, really big and profound insights and realizations along the way, but they're also been very painful, like releasing those things and owning up to a lot of things. That's a lot of what's in my story now, owning up to a lot of the mistakes and the embarrassing things. Going through my own kind of health journey has helped me tap into a lot more of the pain that I really felt, and really how, you know, as a man for a long time, I didn't really identify with the word anxiety. I knew that I was stressed all the time, but I didn't really think of myself as anxious. And as I look back through all the history, which you'll kind of see, I would appreciate it if you do take the time to read my story in advance. Thanking you for that. But I talk about all the struggles I've had for so many years and why I'm so passionate about natural health, alternative health, if you will. But I don't really think of it as the alternative. I think of it as like the health. If it's the alternative to kind of like in what is, in my opinion, a system that is lacking for a lot of people, including myself. And there's a lot of people that maybe that's not the case. Maybe they are doing great with conventional medical care and treatments and allopathic symptom relief, and being on medications for years and decades, and that's great. And if that truly is where somebody is at, and they believe and they feel great in that system, I wish them well. I really, really do. I am not one of those people. I am a natural health, functional medicine person. And I am here myself to tell my story, and I'm working for people that are not happy with what they're getting. And like I talk about in my story, I go all the way back. I started at the beginning, like birth, conventional medical system, things like, and there's a lot of touchy subjects. That's the reason I'm actually passionate about working in mental health, because I have a background working in psychology. I worked in, I've always been passionate about people and helping people, and I got an education, you know, standard normal education in psychology. I gravitated towards evolutionary psychology because I thought that was made a lot more sense to me. The results looked like a lot more clear. So I went down that road. But I also worked in a lot of the, you know, I worked for 3 years in a variety of settings with very conventional, very standard, like psychiatric standard of care for troubled teenage boys and adults. And I worked with populations of people that were in, as I say in the story, like supposedly like ideal conditions. Like, it wasn't like they were not working. They were not having to deal with even the daily life stressors of things. They had been removed from the grind of daily society, and we're living in like just a managed care facility. And this was in California with nice weather and sunshine, and they had full-time psychiatrists tuning their meds. I was the counselor. My job was to work in the house with them, with their day-to-day like triaging of things, like monitoring their medications, counting them, making sure that they took them, making sure that they didn't cheat them and, you know, hide them. Talking to them at night when they had acute crisis. They would go to full-time talk therapy during the day for like 40 hours a week with all the group people, and they lived in the house with the group. And they would have weekly meetings with a psychiatrist. I was the counselor that worked with them at night. I would cook their meals for them. I would see what they were eating. And at the time, I had no idea about functional nutrition or any of this kind of stuff. In retrospect, it's like, well, of course that wasn't working. They were eating an inflammatory diet. They were not eating the right macronutrient ratios. They were not restricted in things like sugar that can dysregulate the brain and the chemistry. In retrospect, if I was running a place like that, it'd be completely different. But I get it. Like, that was the best those people had. The people running that place were very well intentioned, and I'm never trying to shame or say that people are not trying their hardest. I know those people were trying their hardest. I was trying my hardest as a young man, coming out with a traditional psychology education. And I worked on the clinical team for years with people, with the psychiatrists, with the licensed marriage and family therapists, with the licensed social workers, with all those people. And I saw what happened, and it was not great. I did not see stories of people triumphing with the conventional model. And I've heard since recently stories of people that they have taken psych meds, you know, maybe for a short while, and that helped them out to get through the crisis. If that's the case, great. And like I said, if somebody's been on drugs like that for, say, a decade and they're feeling awesome and everything's great, then apparently that's working for you. What I've heard personally and seen with my own eyes, in my own experience, and working with people professionally, was that they were not getting better, the people. I talked to and had clients of mine that were actively delusional, paranoid, suicidal, homicidal, and I had to sit with them in the middle of the night. I was the overnight counselor, so I had to talk to people when they were actively suicidal. I had to call the police to get them taken away. I had to watch my clients that I had developed years of relationships with come back with slit throats that they tried to cut their fucking head off. And that got me, okay? I had clients of mine, one guy I thought was actually dead. Somebody found him behind a bed, and I thought he was dead. And somebody said, call the police, this guy's dead. Like, it hit me, okay? Like, this stuff has hit me personally very hard, and I do take it very seriously. Ironically, that is exactly why I'm here today doing natural health. It's why I'm focusing in mental health specifically, and anxiety and chronic stress. I saw how that conventional model didn't work, and I am passionate about creating an alternative to that, one that actually works for the long term, not just as a short-term band-aid or causing more symptoms or causing more side effects than the problems it creates or that it solves. Okay, if I solve one problem, like, okay, I feel good today, I'm gonna use an SSRI and I'm gonna keep my serotonin in my brain for a while, but I'm not actually making any new serotonin because I'm not eating enough protein, because I'm not digesting the protein, because my gut is dysbiotic, because my hormones are dysregulated, and my nervous system is out of balance, and I'm chronic stressed, and I hate my life. That's not a solution, okay? It's not. It's a Band-Aid. I'm sorry. That's my belief. And like I said, if that's not yours, great. It's mine. This is my business. This is my life. These are my clients, and that's what I'm working for. So I'm releasing that. Okay. My story, continuing on with all that stuff. My journey with anxiety and chronic stress was one starting out thinking I was doing not too bad, aside from my weight gain. It was okay, I thought. And then the layers and layers of dysfunction later. I go over the things like the early warning signs in my teens of getting severe indigestion and going to doctors and having no solutions. I talk about getting severe acne and man boobs that I had, and how I had a chronic, sinus nasal drip and brain fog and all these things that were disrupting my sex life, my relationships, my life as a parent, my career, my friendships, my self-worth as a human being on the earth. was screwing all that up. And worse than that, I was being told that this was normal and it was fine that I was stressed out and miserable and, you know, didn't like myself or the people around me, or was always irritable and angry. And this is like, oh, that's just normal. Just deal with it. Especially being a man, like, suck it up. You're going to be a pussy, like, get to work. We don't want to hear you crying. We don't need to get a day off. Like, just get back to it. And I bought into that mistakenly. I bought into that as like, this is normal and it's okay. And I'm just going to tough it out. I'm not anxious. I'm a man. I'm tough. I'm going to get to work. And then over time, I would get angry. I would get frustrated. I would get pushed back against the system because I'm not the kind of person that's quiet and takes shit off people when they start dishing it out to me. I'm not amused by that. So I would fight back, and it did cause me massive distress. I had to learn and go through this long process of releasing that, of processing all these emotions and frustrations. And it's been very emotional a couple of weeks for me rewriting the story, because I've really gone through and really dug into everything. All my grievances with conventional medicine are in there, but there's also bookended with gratitude. It's bookended with why I'm thankful for the people that helped me along the way. I'm thankful for the other people in like the paleo lifestyle. Like Mark Sisson in his Primal Blueprint was one of the first books I read. I'm so grateful to him for putting that information out there so that I could feel, you know, in my body what happened when I started paying attention to my nutrition, really committed to doing that. Not just a passing glance, well, I'm going to eat a salad for a day and, oh, I should be better. And if not, well, screw it. I'm just going to go back to taking, you know, I'm just going to go back to conventional models. I did the work for years consistently. I'm still doing the work for years consistently. And that is why it has paid off. That is why you can see and watch the quality of my thoughts and my body and what I do increase, because I would follow the things that worked, not the things that conventional society told me were the right things. Because as I've learned, you have to look at the source of it. And the source behind a lot of conventional health stuff, I'm sorry, is money. It's a business model. It's not about what works for people. It's about what keeps companies like food companies and drug companies in business, and in fat bank business. All right. Last time I checked, people in our business in natural health, not a lot of us are killing it in terms of making a lot of money off of helping people. We do it because we care about people. And if I was going to give someone a supplement, I would never, ever give them any supplement recommendation that was going to give them a laundry list of side effects that included, you know, like I had a friend that was on an antibiotic in this past year. The side effect was that they had ruptured tendons. And it's a common thing that happens with this antibiotic. This is madness. If I was going to give someone a multivitamin and was going to rupture their tendons and their joints, I'd be sued up one side and down the other for being, you know, all this stuff. But because somebody has appeal to authority from like institutions, this is okay. This is okay that people are, you know, hurting and getting sicker, that the more drugs they get on, the sicker they get. You know, they get on a drug for one thing, like they can't sleep, and they get on that, and now they're gaining weight. Now their brain doesn't work. Now they're homicidal. I mean, these are some of the things that happen with conventional psych meds and treatments and stuff. And I watched it, again, with my own eyes. I watched people on meds that were supposed to be making them more stable become less stable. And to me, that's bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that frustrates me. And that comes through in my story here. It comes through that, like, this is where I've come from. This is not something I just came up with overnight. I've been on this journey myself for, you know, I'm 37, and this has been for the better part of 20 plus years, probably 25 years, really, thinking and trying to figure this out. My version of the puzzle and the solution of like, what's it all mean here? Like, why do I not feel good in the society when I'm isolated and pushed on and stressed, and when I really need time to be supported by my community, by my family, by my friends, I'm sitting around here alone, or worse, I'm getting yelled at or pressured to do things, you know, get back to work and like make us some more money. Well, forget that. Like, that's not who I am anymore. And this story is me like releasing that. I'm releasing that negative energy out so that I can be of service to people going forward. And that's been a rough process, honestly. It means that I've had to make careful decisions about the company that I keep, to make very intentional, very conscious decisions about who I'm going to choose to spend time with, who's going to be allowed in my space, like my boundaries and my consent, about who is allowed in my personal and professional life, including virtually, like here on Facebook. And I'm just done. I'm done with tolerating and trying to reach out and include people that are, I'm tired of trying to help them understand me when they are committed to misunderstanding me. And I'm not going to do it anymore. So this story is my full circle. It's from literally birth all the way till right now, where all the stressors and all the pain and all the grieving that I've gone through, my personal journey. And again, everyone has theirs. You have yours if you're watching this right now. I get it. And I'm here to help. Anybody that wants my help, I'm here to help. I am, like I said, a healer, an empath, that kind of a person. I'm not, as I realize, an armored up robot man that just is a cognitive machine that's going to get, pushed off to do labor just without thought or concern. I can't do it. I literally could not do it. That's why along the way I've quit multiple jobs, because I made a choice. Either I'm going out like this with stress and anxiety and hating my life and reaching so level high that I was having practically like panic attacks, and literally multiple jobs. It's like I just couldn't go back to work. I was so stressed and so angry and so frustrated with the whole thing. I just couldn't go back to work. So I had to figure it out. I had to make a business and figure out what to do. And this has led me down this road to where now I have a business helping people with anxiety and chronic stress, because that has been my story, and I'm owning it as my, I don't know what she is, I guess, not friend. I met her once, Brene Brown. She's my hero. How about that? My hero, Brene Brown, says, if you don't own your story, you can't write the ending. So this is me today owning my story, but like for reals, like all the way to deep now, all the pain, all the hardships, all the different things that have gone on, my relationship struggles, my divorce, open sexuality and relationships and polyamory. There's a little bit of that sprinkled in there. Parenting struggles, career struggles, mental health struggles, body composition struggles, it's all in there. So in closing, I appreciate you guys. I'm grateful for my network of people for support. I'm grateful for my my functional diagnostic nutrition crew. Shout out to you guys for fighting the good fight, because that's really what we're doing. We're this bridge between this conventional model that really is failing most people. Perhaps for some it's okay. I really honestly don't really believe that. I really believe that probably a lot of that is wishful thinking, is dissociation. It is putting your head in the sand and thinking everything's fine. I think when people really dig deep like I've done, and they tap into what they feel like they want to be, like you want to be an actual human, you want to feel good in your life, you want to look and feel and be strong in your body and use your brain and it's sharp and works, like ask yourself that for real. If you're getting some conventional treatment right now, is that really how you feel? Like when you meditate on it and you tap into it, go for a walk and think real hard about how your body looks, look in the mirror. Like, is this you? Like, is this your best version of you? If you think so, then great. I didn't think so. And I have plenty of friends and clients and people that I've talked to that don't think so either. So I am a proud card-carrying member of the functional health movement. It's awesome. And I'm proud to be a part of it. And that's my story. So if you've got any comments, helpful, I should say, comments and suggestions, support, that would be great. I appreciate it. I'd love to hear some of your own stories, some of your own struggles with anxiety, with stress, with your job, with your relationships. I've linked on purpose a bunch of resources in my story, a bunch of hyperlinks, even though it's kind of my own biography and narrative. I do really feel passionate about sharing things. So there's links in there about things like circumcision, damage of gluten on the gut, drug damage of a few different kinds of the different drugs I took for, like, my acne and all the things they can screw up. Those are all in there. So you can see links to books from people like Tim Ferriss and Aubrey Marcus and Brene Brown, and Kelly Brogan, my superhero. Shout out to Kelly Brogan, a renegade psychiatrist, triple board certified, who does not use any drugs in her practice and does work with suicidal patients and has a zero negative outcome practice. aspire to create a practice like that myself. That's what I'm working on, is that can help people with the same root cause things, the foundational pieces of lifestyle that include diet, sleep, exercise, stress reduction, and supplements to backfill it in, and all driven and guided by the absolute best testing and biochemistry possible. That's what I'm doing a deep dive into right now. Organic chemistry, biochemistry, neurochemistry, all of these things. This notion that alternative health is kind of hippie bullshit and we're just, you know, smoking some incense over here and just hanging out in the garden or something like that. Those things are great, but there's science driving all this stuff. There is. It's just, it's drowned out by a deafening roar of misinformation. And that's why I think a lot of well-intentioned people are confused. They're frustrated and they're looking for answers. They want something to make sense. So that's what I do. I am asserting what I think makes sense to me. Not just in theory or what somebody's advertisements or you know, profit margin or business interest is, but what actually works for people. So that's what I'm here to do. So if you want to get in touch, you like more help, we're always here. Natasha and I at Anabolic Aces. So again, thank you for watching and cheers.